Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are doing a surgical strike, really right into the heart of a bureaucratic system.
That's right.
Our focus is on the pursuit of accountability inside state agencies. We're looking at the Florida Department of Health and what happens when, established facts run up against institutional machinery.
And this source material is part 2 of a story we've looked at before. It's Alex Ander's quest for accountability after his mother, Sandy Ander, passed away in May of 2020.
Right.
What makes this so unique is that it details the fight he faced after he'd already scored a major victory within that same state system.
And that context is absolutely vital for you, the listener, to really get what happens next. So Alex is entering the Department of Health, the DOH, after a 2-year fight with the Department of Children and Families, or DCF.
A brutal 2-year fight.
And he had already won. He fought the fight, he got the evidence, he proved his case.
Exactly. The groundwork for this whole DOH complaint was already laid by that first agency. I mean, DCF's own state director of adult protective services, a Mr. Roy Carr, he looked at Alex's evidence and literally said, "We dropped the ball on this one."
Wow.
So DCF reopened the case, they overturned their own findings, they substantiated misconduct by the nurse, and then they referred the entire file to the DOH.
And why the referral?
Because DCF, they didn't have any regulatory power. They lacked the teeth, as they put it, to actually sanction a licensed healthcare provider.
So if you're Alexander at early 2022,
Yeah.
you're thinking the hard part is over,
No.
right? The facts are established.
Mhm.
So the mission for us today is to figure out how the DOH managed to take this case, this clear win, hand it to them on a platter, and turn it into this bureaucratic nightmare.
Well, the process started off with this immediate sense of impersonal distance. On April 12, 2022, Alex contacts the department.
Okay.
A regulatory specialist, Marcia Linville, sends him the complaint form, but she includes this very strange, very explicit instruction. She told him to complete the form, send it in through the official channels, but under no circumstances should he reply directly to her email.
That's weird. That immediately puts up a wall. You're not allowed to communicate with a person who just communicated with you.
Exactly. And the first real barrier came almost right away from an investigation specialist named Shikareya Carter. DOH basically put the whole case in limbo.
In limbo. Why?
They demanded certified letters of administration.
And for you listening, that's the formal, certified legal document that proves Alex is the personal representative of his mother's estate. So basically, legal paperwork.
Right. And they insisted on this formality before they would even start the investigation.
That just feels like a stall tactic.
Yeah.
I mean, why insist on that when another state agency, DCF, had already confirmed the misconduct was valid? Is that standard procedure?
It seems like, at best, extreme rigidity. The source material shows Alex was providing court documents showing the appointment was happening. DCF, they had eventually let their investigation move forward while that was being sorted out. DOH just used it as a complete stop sign.
And so once Alex gets him that paperwork, what happens?
He clears that hurdle, and then the system just does its classic disappearing act.
Of course.
He submitted the certified letters on June 27th, 2022. He asked for confirmation, asked for the report, and then nothing.
Just silence.
Total radio silence. Emails not answered. Phone calls not returned. The investigator, Ms. Carter, just vanished.
It's designed to exhaust you. That silence is a weapon. It's meant to wear you down until you just walk away.
But he didn't. That silence actually forced him to take another step, a step he shouldn't have had to take.
Legislative intervention.
Yep. Just 3 days later, June 30th, he contacts his mother's state senator's office, Senator Kelly Stargell, and speaks to an aide, Denise DeBow.
And this is where you see how the system really works, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Within 2 hours, not 2 days, not 2 weeks, 2 hours of that senator's office getting involved, Alex gets a phone call.
2 hours after weeks of nothing. That's just breathtaking. Who called him?
Jordan Warner, a senior management analyst calling directly from DOH headquarters in Tallahassee.
So from the top.
Right from the top. Warner basically said he knew there were problems with the investigator and promised he would personally oversee the case from then on.
See, that proves the mechanism for getting attention exists. It's there. It just requires, a political key to unlock it? The normal channels, the ones taxpayers fund, are just for show until a politician calls.
It's a huge failure of the process. I mean, the irony is just, it's intense. An aide's phone call did more in 2 hours than the entire investigative unit did in weeks.
So now headquarters is involved. Does things get any clearer?
You would think so, but no. The confusion just continued. Alex sent this massive amount of documentation, certified records, the DCF rebuttal, everything. He even overnighted flash drives to Mr. Warner on his own dime.
Just to make sure they got it.
And this is where the internal communication just completely breaks down. Even with Warner supposedly watching, the original investigator, Carter, she emails Alex and says the final report would be confidential if they don't find negligence.
So she's telling him, if we find nothing, you'll never know why.
Basically. So Alex has to go back to Warner, escalate it again, just to get a clear answer on basic procedure. Warner had to step in and clarify that, yes, complainants are notified of the outcome.
That's information that should be automatic. You shouldn't have to fight for it.
And then we get the big aha moment, the recurring error that proves nobody's actually reading the file.
What was it?
DOH kept sending him official letters asking for the name and contact info of the personal representative of the estate.
Wait, what? He'd already given them the letters of administration. Twice.
He made a recorded statement identifying himself. He included certified copies on the flash drive he overnighted. And they still kept asking.
That's not just a mistake. That's institutional blindness.
Even Warner admitted it made no sense. So the case gets transferred again. This time to investigator Sierra Brown in Tampa.
Investigator number 2.
Number 2. She takes a recorded statement from Alex confirming his status, and then a few days later, she sends him a letter asking the exact same question. Who is the personal representative?
Unbelievable. It's like the system has no memory. He's just stuck in a loop.
And he formally objected. He pointed out, this is the exact same pattern of errors I had to fight at DCF, and now it's happening all over again here.
So Investigator Brown is out. What happens then? Another handoff.
The churn continues. Brown gets reassigned. By August 2022, a week had gone by, and Alex didn't even know who his new investigator was. He called it a period of institutional exhaustion.
I can see why. The goal stops being about the facts of the case and starts being just about surviving the process.
That is the perfect definition of process-defeating accountability.
Yeah.
But then, thankfully, things did stabilize for a bit. The case landed with investigator Angelina Rivera, a medical malpractice investigator, and she was different.
How so?
She was methodical, organized. She asked for specific things, photos of the injuries, timelines, witness lists. And importantly, she documented the investigation's limitations, like needing a subpoena for phone records, and treated them as things the DOH needed to do, not as Alex's failures.
Okay, so this must have felt like a huge relief. Finally, someone taking it seriously.
A massive relief. And this hope, it really peaked right as the 90-day statutory limit for the investigation was coming up.
What happened?
Rivera requested a 1-week extension. And the reason she gave Alex was, and this is a quote, because of the extraordinary volume of evidence supporting probable cause.
An extraordinary volume of evidence supporting probable cause. That's a huge statement from an investigator.
It's a massive signal. She's telling him the evidence is overwhelming. Alex, of course, he agreed immediately.
So the system is finally working. It sees the evidence. It's moving forward.
It sure seemed that way. In January 2023, he gets a notification from the Prosecution Services Unit. They told him a recommendation had been prepared to be submitted to a probable cause panel.
And that's the crucial step, right? That means the investigator and at least one DOH lawyer looked at the file and agreed there was enough to move forward.
Correct. It means they believe the evidence warrants formal consideration by the panel that actually decides on disciplinary action.
So everything is pointing in the right direction. Internally, the investigator and the attorneys are on board.
Yeah.
But then, what happened when it went to that panel?
Then came the crash. In March 2023, Alex gets a letter in the mail.
Yes.
The probable cause panel found no probable cause. Case closed.
What? No probable cause. After his own investigator said there was an extraordinary volume of evidence for it, what was the explanation?
There was none.
Nothing.
Zero. No explanation, no analysis of the evidence, no reason given for why evidence that was strong enough for DCF to completely reverse itself wasn't good enough for the DOH. The door just slammed shut.
And this is where the process just turns hostile.
Yeah.
He tried to use his right to submit more information, didn't he?
He did. And this phase is the most opaque of all. An assistant general counsel, Nicole DiBartolomeo, she told him he couldn't see the records, but he was free to submit more information.
But how can you submit more information if you don't know what they think is missing?
It's an impossible situation. You're just guessing. When Alex asked for clarification for the statutes that allowed this, Her reply was just the citation number and one sentence.
What did it say?
Govern yourself accordingly.
Wow, that's not legal guidance. That's a threat. That's incredibly dismissive language to use with a citizen.
It feels designed to intimidate. And her supervisor, Caitlin Hardin, just doubled down. She confirmed everything was confidential because no probable cause was found and that, no, they would not explain the panel's decision.
So they tell him he has 60 days to appeal, but he can't know what he's appealing because the decision is a secret.
Exactly. When he asked that exact question, how can I appeal a confidential decision? He was met with complete and total silence.
The impossible appeal.
Yeah.
It's a Kafkaesque nightmare. But he still did it, right? He submitted an appeal.
He did. He put together a 45-page appeal in that 60-day window, citing statutes as best a layperson could.
And the response?
It was fast. A rejection letter. It said his appeal failed to meet statutory criteria.
But it didn't say which criteria.
Of course not. And his requests for even a small extension were all denied.
So the final word came in May 2023.
May 8th. DOH informed him the case would remain closed and that they had, and I quote, no further obligation to communicate with him. The process had won.
If you zoom out, the DOH experience, it's just a mirror of the worst parts of the DCF fight, but with like a thicker veil of secrecy.
Absolutely. The system only moved when a legislator pushed it. Evidence was lost in the churn between investigators, and the final decision, the most important one, was delivered from behind a wall with no justification.
So for you, the learner, what does this all mean? This source material, it lays out a blueprint for how accountability dies. It's not defeated by evidence to the contrary. It's defeated by a process so exhausting, so secretive, so full of delays and turnover that it outlasts the people who bring them.
It's a tragic example of procedure becoming the punishment. A citizen's personal resources, their time, their money, their emotional strength, it's just no match for the endless inertia of a state bureaucracy. The process itself is the penalty for daring to ask for answers.
Thank you for taking this deep dive with us. The detail Alexander provided here with the names and the dates, it makes this more than a story. It's a critical document of systemic failure.
And it leaves us with a really important question for you to think about. When the very agencies we fund to hold professionals accountable use mandatory confidentiality to hide the reason for their decisions, what tool does a citizen actually have to hold the system itself accountable?